Hello everyone, this is Sue Haviland and Brian Sachs. Thank you for logging on so promptly to the webinar. We're going to be starting in just one moment. I've got that it's the top of the hour.
Okay, everyone, it's Brian Sachs and Sue Haviland, and thank you so much for attending. Wanted to really get started, and what we're going to cover today is how every originator can have a stable income and career, even in today's market.
And once again, thanks everyone for logging on so promptly. We know that this was going to be a well-attended webinar. We've received lots and lots of questions, so let's get going. We have a lot to cover today.
Well, it's actually worse than that because we're sold out,
yep.
Which is going to upset some people, but you're lucky enough to be here, so let's get going. Okay, so we want to talk about what you're going to learn. We really, the market's changed dramatically, and hopefully you've seen some of the videos we've posted. We're going to go through that a little bit of that again, but at the very end, there's going to be some opportunities, and I want to tell you that up front because there's no sense beating around the bush. We've worked very hard and listened to what you requested, and I think what we've put together is really sort of unbelievable. But really, really key to your success. We're going to give you one sentence, and I got to be honest, Sue, this is going to sound a little bit maybe like bragging or arrogant, and I don't mean it to be, but this one sentence, folks, if all you get out of this whole webinar is this one sentence, it's worthwhile to you because this is the one sentence that changed our career. So let's dig in a little bit more. What's working now and what to avoid, how to bring in new deals, how to profit from originating reverse mortgages, and why this is a group you must focus on, especially now.
We're also going to talk about some underground tactics that we've created to position you as the obvious expert. And folks, I can't emphasize how important that is, and how to really get referral partners. We've talked to a lot of folks out there who are struggling with these referral partner relationships, and a group of influencers who will continue to send you business week in and week out. We've actually identified two. Well, there's more than two, but we've identified two that we're going to share.
Mental triggers and persuasion techniques that give every originator who learns them, and that means you, an unfair advantage over the competition. Seniors are different. You have to market to them differently, speak to them differently, respond to them differently, and most importantly, interact with them differently. Secrets to getting more done even if you have a staff of 0. And by the way, I know many of you on this right now on this webinar have a marketing budget of 0 and a staff of 0, and please understand that this is still going to be extremely worthwhile to you. So let's talk about the new mortgage origination business and what you need to know and do to stay in it and prosper. We're having this webinar. I'm going to date it. It's okay. We're having this webinar May 3rd. Okay, it's a sellout webinar. But if you had asked us this question March 3rd, we would have given you a different answer than we would have April 3rd, than we will give you today, May 3rd. It's constantly evolving.
And yes, you can. You can still close loans, make money, and have a great career by harnessing the power. And I love this saying, the power of the biggest niche to ever hit our industry, and folks, it is reverse mortgages.
So back in November, Sue and I were at NRMLA. No, we were not laying in the street in New Orleans. We were actually working.
We were attending the meetings.
And we heard a statistic that almost threw both of us almost off our chairs. This is from the National Reverse Mortgage Lenders Association. Listen to this. The average reverse originator closes 1 loan per month. Well, my chair started tilting. Okay, and when they gave me the next scary statistic, reverse mortgages still have only 2% market penetration. That means there are 75 million people who need this product. Only 2% of them have really been exposed and gotten the program.
And some of you on the webinar probably know we have been close to that 2% mark for quite a while, and we just haven't been able to break that barrier. So that's part of what we're going to talk about.
Well, let's do some math. We'll do some quick math.
Okay.
That means there's 98% of the market for us to tackle.
Yeah,
I mean, it's enormous. 98% of 75 million people. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you're in New York City or Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It doesn't matter because there's seniors everywhere. One of the secrets that we learned over the years is that if you want to see success in any business, you have to find a hungry audience and simply give them what they need and want. And by the way, what they want and what they need aren't always the same. Needs and wants are different.
And once again, back in November at the NRMLA conference, we got an idea to start the Reverse Mortgage Success blog. And what we really wanted to do is, just based on our experience at this conference, get some conversations going with some other originators around the country and talk about some tactics and share what we were doing and seeing if some other folks were having the same questions that we were.
Well, and I recall seeing you being stopped in the hallway, people saying, "Oh my God, Brian Sachs is here." People that have known me for many years. You were an actual celebrity there, and everybody's saying to us, "Well, what are you guys doing? What's working? What's not working?" So we started the Reverse Mortgage Success blog. Hopefully, many of you have gotten great ideas over the months. Why did we do it? We just wanted to share. As Sue said, we wanted to get the conversation going, and plus, I know this is going to sound sort of corny, but we really like watching others succeed. That's been our history over the years. And we hate watching hardworking, good, honest, professional loan officers like ourselves be taken advantage of and waste thousands of dollars on tactics that we know don't work.
And let's be honest, we know that the lenders offer some really, really good training, and we wanted to take that a step farther and share with you some of the tactics that we have uncovered that'll let you take things to the next level.
So a couple things before we go any further. A lot of what we're going to share with you works regardless of whether you're doing reverse mortgages or any type of mortgage. There's sound marketing principles and good business principles. And whether you're new or experienced in the reverse mortgage area, still worthwhile what we're going to share with you. So hang in there. Let's get rolling. So who's out there trying to help us? I wish I could see all your faces. Not the government, not the folks on Wall Street, not the media, but we're still here and so are you, and we know you need help. We needed help. That's why we went out and discovered all of these things. Look, I'm going to, I hope there are no kids around, so let me preface that. As an industry, I feel that we've been punched in the face, kicked in the stomach, kicked while we're on the ground, and now people are pretty much taking a leak on us. That's a nice way to say it. And I'm sure many of you feel the same way. So why reverse mortgages and why now?
Now, here's an article talking about how the 401k plans are falling short. We know that a lot of folks, through no fault of their own, just don't have the money needed for their retirement. And one big step forward, we've got some positive news in March of 2011.
Well,
and
folks, here's proof we're sold out.
Oh, yeah, we're done. If you're not on yet, you're not going to be on. But here's some proof. This is courtesy of our friends at Reverse Market Insight that we're finally starting to see an uptick in endorsements from the last month. So some good news.
So I want you to close your eyes. Not if you're driving, okay? But I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine waking up in mortgage heaven and finding a program that has 7,800 new people being added each day, each and every day. But here's the biggie. It's almost like deja vu, as Yogi Berra would say. Deja vu all over again. No income qualifications, no asset verification, no medical or health requirement, no credit score qualifications. God, this GoToWebinar is annoying. No qualifying ratio. It's almost like those good old days we all remember. And Sue, you can talk a lot about this. Seniors are in real trouble, and they need your help.
Yeah, they need us, and folks, don't be misled. They're out there looking for us. They really need our help. No Social Security, cost of living increase for the last 2 years, while gas especially. Boy, has anybody filled your tank this week? I don't know what gas prices are.
I'm glad you clarified.
Yes. Gas prices, prescription costs. We could do a whole session on the gas prices right now. Low rates on savings and investments. I mean, it's, you know, these folks are really being hit from every angle.
So who are we? Hopefully you know that, but we'll tell you. You know, unlike others, we originate every day. We're in the trenches just like you. We're experiencing the ups and downs, the regulatory issues. I'm not sure what the problem is.
It's telling us that people are still trying to get on.
Well, they got to stop that. Yep. Please follow directions. We have been originating for over 25 years each. And, you know, we write for Broker Universe, Reverse Review, Scotsman Guide, Reverse Fortune. We're not telling you this to be pompous or to brag, but just to tell you that we're not pretend experts out there trying to sell you some magic shiny pill. That's really, that infuriates me. What you need in this market are field-tested, proven-to-work tactics. Let's be honest. Nobody's got the budget or the time to experiment these days, okay? We don't want anything that's going to, we need results. And if all you have to invest is a little bit of your time, which many of us have way, way too much of, a lot of the tactics we're going to show you work.
Now, to be honest, not everything we tried has worked. I know probably some people are thinking, oh yeah, Brian and Sue, everything they do just works fine. Not true. Many of our ideas have failed, and that's why we're only going to share with you what we have tested and what works. No guesswork, no costly experiments. Those of you who know me, I detest wasting money. It just drives me nuts. I want to share with you the things that we've tried and that are working.
This computer wants to fight back, doesn't it? How and where did we learn it? Both of us looked, I'm sorry if that's annoying, folks. It's just as really annoying to me, too. Both of us looked outside the mortgage business to see what was working in other fields and then tested them and perfected them to make sure it worked in our space. You know, and a few months ago, we did a survey to find out exactly what was holding you, our subscribers, back. So we asked, right? And we got a long list. And then Sue and I really started trying to put this stuff together, and then guess what happened? It all changed. Our compensation changed, the programs changed, everything changed.
And this business is not even the same as it was back in November. As you heard Brian say, it's not the same as it was just a few weeks ago. But whether you're a seasoned reverse originator or have never done a reverse mortgage before, things have changed. So you really need to pay attention. And neither Brian or I have taken on any new coaching students for a while because we have been working on our own production and we've been working to create this reverse mortgage success system for you.
So, you know, we've gotten about 173 requests, probably more than that, but that's how much it was as we put these slides together that will lay out sort of what we discovered and put in a format any loan officer can immediately use to start thriving instead of feeling like many of us feel, which is like totally out of control. We have no control over our income, no control over our career, and we feel like a ping pong ball. So stop what you're doing right now. Stop. Get off that crackberry. Open up all the slides you have on your computer. I want you to pay attention to this because this is really, really, really important. And it's worth writing down. This is the one sentence that hopefully you've heard already, and this will reinforce to you, but this is what totally changes the dynamic in your income, in your career, and in your business. It's all about who's chasing who, and the goal is to get them chasing you. So here's what you can't afford to do. You can't put ads in the paper, right? Getting a desk in a realtor office isn't effective. The realtors aren't even there anymore, right? Bringing donuts to the senior center, well, I'm not even going to go into that. Taking agents out to lunch, sending expensive mail pieces, buying Google ads, buying leads. You can name your own tactic, but in these days of commissions being cut and new compensation rules and the economy and everything else, you've got to play a different game or you're just going to fail.
You need to position yourself as the obvious expert so the prospects and other referral partners are chasing you and wanting to do business with you. Take just a second and think about how that would feel if you had prospects and referral partners who were reaching out to you instead of you always having to be begging for business.
So what changes? Your income goes up, obviously. Your expenses go down. What does that mean, Sue?
Ah, that means you're making more money.
Exactly. You can finally have a dependable income. And dependable is such a key word, and I'm almost stuttering over it.
Especially in our industry.
Right, because, you know, it doesn't matter. When you've created more demand for you than there is time you have, and you have people chasing you, life is good. You control your time. You're not wasting time chasing, and origination becomes fun and profitable again. And God knows it hasn't been that way for a very long time. So from this, we created a 3-part success recipe. And what we found is, my God, these people are persistent. What we found is that some people are having a hard time generating a flow of new prospects, right?
Absolutely.
And then we found some people are generating new prospects, but they have no idea how to close the sale. And so they sit in the, and please don't be offended by what I'm about to say. Actually, I'm going to say that for the rest of the webinar. Don't be offended by anything else I'm going to say in this whole webinar.
Thank you.
But you sit with grandma and grandpa in the kitchen for 4 hours, you make nice, you have coffee and crimpets, and everybody's loving it, and you walk out and you go, I didn't even take an application. And that happens. You got to know that that happens.
Admit it. It's happened to you. It's happened to everybody.
And let's say you are generating leads and you are actually taking applications, but don't you feel every month like you got to start all over again? You know, every month's a brand new month. You have no way of getting consistent business coming to you on a regular basis, and that's no good either. And so you need to generate new business. The first part of the recipe, you have to be seen as an obvious expert. You can't afford to brand yourself. Come on. Nobody cares that you're in the President's Club if you are.
Whatever that means, yeah. And based on the new compensation rules, let's be honest, you have to limit yourself to what makes sense financially. Things have changed. You've got to have systems and tactics that produce consistent business like an assembly line. And yes, it can be done.
Well, that's why we said we're creating a machine.
You've got to have multiple ways of generating new business. I know a lot of you have heard us talk about that before. You never rely on just 1 or 2 ways, and many that cost 0 to implement. I love that number. When something costs 0 to implement, you can bet I'm going to try it. And here's another one. Don't count on anyone but yourself if you want to succeed. Once again, if you want to take away from this, it's don't count on anyone but yourself. And here's the biggie. You're going to be seen as the obvious expert. Borrowers are going to be chasing you. And what we found is, in a lot of the things that we looked at, everybody was showing us how to chase the borrowers, which we feel is wrong, especially if you're working with a very small marketing budget right now.
Small being 0.
Small being 0, yeah.
Now, the other problem here becomes a lot of you are spending an inordinate amount of time working in your business. You've let staff go, you've let receptionists go, you've let processors or centralized. Any assistance you had is now gone, and it's you, okay? And what that causes you to do is chase your tail. You really don't have time to work on your business because you are working in your business. And we want you to work on your business and in your business, and we're going to share some techniques with you. So the second part of the recipe is create a bond with your clients and their care providers or advisors. And we talked about this, spending 3 hours in the kitchen going, what just happened? I didn't take an application. Why? Well, you don't understand your prospect. That's why. You don't understand, as I don't understand why people are still trying to come in here, and this thing keeps popping up. You got to understand what motivates them, how to speak to them, how to market to them, how to get them to instantly trust you, because guess what? They are a suspicious group of people, and they are being told what a dirtbag we are.
That's right.
Okay, and we've got to overcome that quickly. How to get them to say yes, you have to know the triggers. You have to create also a referral network and an army, I call it a sales army of past clients who send you new deals each month, so you're not starting over and over again every time. And you need to be able to take advantage of the easiest client you could ever sell to and turn those clients into that army of referrals, and you could do it for $1. Everybody can come up with $1.
And did you hear us talk about low and no cost methods? There you go.
You also need to know who to partner with. Lots of folks are going out there. We know this, Sue, and we had this problem ourselves. You know, trying to find the right referrer, I don't know if that's a word, the right person to refer business to us.
Referral partner.
And referral partner, thank you. And you know, they don't want to hear from us. You know, it's all about what's in it for me.
Right.
And that's why most people are frustrated or approaching it wrong, because you're going up to them and, please, I hope you didn't just eat lunch, but you're vomiting on them. Okay, you're saying, hi, I'm Brian Sachs, and I do blah, 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 you know, and nobody cares. What you need to say instead is, look, we get a tremendous amount of clients that could benefit from your services, Mr. Estate Attorney, and we often find that they are lacking in a will and estate work and so forth. And I'm sure you run into clients who come to you for estate work. How can we be of advantage to each other and help each other? Much better way to say it. And by the way, I have a newsletter I write. Would you like to write for it? Free advertising for you. You have a newsletter. Would you like me to give you some content? See how that works? Much better situation.
Whole different way of saying it.
We found the whole group who are very influential need your help, and almost no one goes after them. You can't beg, it doesn't work. And we're going to talk about this group a little bit later on in the presentation.
And now that you know what to do and what not to do, the big question is, how do you do it? Well, that's why we created the Reverse Mortgage Success Online Learning and Resource Center.
So these are some of the modules and some of the things you're going to learn inside, but we're going to try to use it as an opportunity to teach you a couple things as we go. How to easily identify the easiest client to ever sell to. Who is that client? Let's get rid of the mystery. A person who you have sold to already, who's closed a loan with you and liked you, you have to say that, okay, and liked you, is the easiest person to sell to. Now, you're not going to give them another reverse mortgage, but you can turn them into a referral army. One thing about seniors is they like to chat. They got a lot of time. They got a lot of friends. You know, when I first got into this end of the business, Sue said to me, you can't take a loan application after 5. Why? What are you talking about? I'm only used to taking applications after 5 because these folks have happy hour, okay? And they have happy hours, and they, you know, I've seen it over and over again. She's right. And they talk to each other, and they typically live in communities of other seniors, and they network. And believe it or not, they're faster, the biggest segment on the coming onto the web right now on the net. But let me just give you some highlights. The power of 10. You need to know the power of 10 and how to profit from it. Well, it looks like we've reached our number of attendees again. How to get attorneys, financial planners, accountants, and other professionals to automatically promote you as their preferred partner. Little known tactic to get your customers to be your best salesperson. That's really what we're talking about. Let me just share something with you. You are a salesperson. Anything you say is deemed as you being a salesperson. But if we can get our clients to do the talking for us, or these other professional or influencers, well, that really sticks. That works.
Once again, a completely different conversation. Another module, how to make 6 figures a year originating reverse mortgages.
We're not making any income claims.
Yeah, no income claims, yeah. And still have time to enjoy your life. The secrets to managing your time properly, folks, so that you can work 40 hours a week or less and still earn maximum income.
Well, we're always asked how we're able to travel the country, consult, teach, write for publications, originate, and still have private time. We told you we've created a machine. Let me explain that to you because it's going to be important to you, and it's going to be what we reveal to you. Pretend that you're working at the General Motors plant, okay? And your job at the General Motors plant is to screw the bolts onto the tires. That's your job. That's what you do for a living, okay? No problem. If you get sick, do you think General Motors shuts down? Of course not. And that's how Sue and I have always approached this business, in a very production-minded, systematic way. The most important number in your business that 99.9% of other originators and other people in the world actually never monitor or even understand. You know, I coined a term many years ago called production-itis, loan officer-itis. And that means that you do a lot of work, and at the end of the day, you've got no income. So you go, I don't understand. I've been working like a maniac, but I have no paycheck.
And I bet there's a lot of folks out there listening to this today that are in that exact situation.
Well, we're going to share with you how to fix that. And it's not hard, and it doesn't cost you money. There's a tool that Sue and I use that is free. It's highly effective, and it's one of the secrets that, you know, Sue and I have consulted with some of the top earners in the country, and they're using it now too. If you're frustrated with your employees, or worse, don't think you can even afford employees right now, we're going to give you a straightforward template formula that will have your employees happily do what you want and need them to every time. We're going to take you even on a behind-the-scenes tour of kind of what our days look like, because we're often asked, well, what do you do? What's your average day? We're going to show you. See, the dirty little secret here, folks, is that the truly successful originators are not working harder, but they're earning more and taking more time off to enjoy it even now.
Another module, the little known psychological triggers, and this is so exciting. We're really excited to share this. The little known psychological triggers that will instantly make seniors trust you and want to do business with you. And I got to tell you folks, this module alone, when we researched this and decided to share it, it was really a breakthrough for us.
Well, I got to tell you, this module alone is worth 100 times more than what we're asking for your access to the whole resource center and trainings, because you're not going to find this anywhere else in our industry. If you find another guru teaching this, I will give you 10 crisp $100 bills, and I mean it, and I'm on record now, okay? There isn't one because, A, most of them don't know it, okay? So, imagine really having an unfair advantage over your competition. And I'm going to be so bold as to say you won't even have competition, because this is so critical to your success. And Sue and I have put so much into this, we actually had to break it up into 3 modules so we didn't have you feeling like you were drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah, it would have been overload otherwise.
But here's a warning. We don't want you to use these ideas or tactics for anything other than ethically and morally appropriate purposes. They're that powerful. And to be honest, persuasion gets a bad rap. But reality is you're using it at home, you're using it at work, you're using it everywhere you go. When you want to go out to dinner with your spouse or significant other or girlfriend or your kid, don't think your kid ain't persuading you all day long, because they are. They're masters, okay? But once you understand this, you're able to close transactions, your marketing becomes better, your life becomes better. And that's why we have over 3.5 hours of it. Not just for reverse mortgages, although we've tailored it for seniors specifically, but these tactics work for everybody. Well, we've talked about this. Everybody's having all sorts of problems. Can't get appointments, can't get people to call, can't close the deal when you do, can't convince people to use you instead of your competition.
And we just got a question about this the other day. Folks having difficulty when they have to speak to the borrower's children. How to overcome the children's concerns. These are all issues that we are dealing with every day in the reverse mortgage arena.
But that we fixed. We're going to give you a 26-word sentence that will totally change the way you market to seniors. Now, if you think this is a little hypey, good, because we're going to prove it to you, okay? I'm reading this and thinking about and listening to myself, and it sounds a little hypey, a little too good to be true. But what if you're wrong and it is true? Because we know it is, okay? It is true. Look, when we started using this, we were accused of all sorts of bad things because nobody could understand how our income had gone up and our pipeline had really spiked. It wasn't a fluke. We learned what motivates them, okay? We learned what their fears are. We learned their buy and don't buy buttons. And all of you need to know that you're dealing with a different group of people. So you're going to see, here's a small sample of what we're going to show you in this one-of-a-kind module. You're going to actually see the actual reverse mortgage buyer profile we use in our marketing. It's sort of like an avatar. And the person is not, I bet it's not who you think it is, okay? There is a distinct profile of clients you need to be searching for who are your ideal prospects. Not one that want to think about it and drop dead before it ever happens. That's not the one. But when you know this, it's almost really like shooting fish in a barrel because it's your ultimate shortcut.
And here's another small sample of what you're going to see, how to instantly make their fears and those of their family and advisors disappear so they do business with you. Not only do business with you, but they are going to love you so much they're going to send you consistent referrals.
Well, I want to teach too, Sue, okay? So, a little known referral source we discovered that has been sending us a flood of new business and that you can quickly tap into as well. Let's just take a couple minutes here and I want to tell you about it, okay? We have discovered everybody's going after insurance agents, financial planners, the in-home care providers, the usual suspects, I like to call them, okay? Yes. But that's a crowded field. We have started to find some major success with bankruptcy attorneys. Why? Because many seniors with equity are so in over their head right now that they have maxed out their credit cards, many just on prescriptions, okay, or basic necessities, not like they went to Vegas.
And probably now with filling their tank.
And right. And these, unfortunately, they're not able to file bankruptcy because they have equity in the home, yet they can't pay their bills because they can't get their equity. Guess what? That's a perfect reverse mortgage client. So we want to leave you with some tangibles here that you can walk away from. Whether this system's right for you or not, it's okay. But I want you to have some good ideas to walk away with. That was part one. In part two, we have 18 psychological triggers. I always hate to say the one above it. The secret's to getting anyone to do what you want to, when you want them to, and feel good about it. It really is. It's an MBA in sales and marketing, and that's why we want to make sure you only do it ethically.
But let's be honest, Brian. We're assuming everybody on the webinar is professional and an ethical reverse mortgage originator.
We hope and pray that most of the riffraff in our industry has been washed away, and I think we're probably on target with that. But not only are these triggers going to help you in your marketing and your sales, but to be very honest with you, they're going to help you with you. Because in many cases you can't get out of your own way because, you know, look what we've been through for the last couple of years. Nothing nice is being said about originators. The market's in turmoil. Our compensation's been cut. I mean, we talked about it at the very beginning. But we've put some extra time into this module to really help you mentally get back on track yourself, because I think that's really critical.
How to build a referral machine that sends you new business each and every month like clockwork. And in this module, you're going to learn the one question you must ask before you even go out seeking referral partners. You heard Brian mention the one great referral partner that we uncovered. We're going to give you the questions that you need to ask and how to have that conversation. And a list of potential referral partners and how to approach each and every one, because there are differences. You have to know what to say. You have to know what's important to them. And instead of, once again, not chasing the ones that are obvious, the ones that everybody's going after, we're going to give you some different ones. And you're going to have them referring you as their exclusive partner once you see the insider secrets.
Let me give you something to take away from here, okay? Everybody write down on a sheet of paper, grab a pen, piece of paper if you're driving, obviously this doesn't mean you. WIFM. Many of you may have heard it, but on the chance that you haven't, I want to share it. WIFM. That's the radio station that everybody's turned into, including you. What's in it for me? Okay? That's what WIFM stands for. Good to take that with It's All About Who's Chasing Who and take that to your computer. Okay? Because what we all tend to do, as I said earlier, is tell everybody how wonderful we are and all the wonderful things we can do, and we don't even know what the person's needs are. Okay? So stop me, and start talking about you, and the benefits they're going to get. You know, one of the things that Sue and I are very sensitive about, it's one thing to tell you what to do, it's another thing to show you how to do it, yet it's even further when we actually give you something you can copy and paste and use, so you don't even have to recreate it.
I have found that very frustrating, Brian. You're right. When somebody just tells you what to do, but then they don't give you the direction to how to do it, you kind of feel lost and you feel like they weren't for real.
Well, we've got lots of done-for-you templates to work with referral partners, and it gives them a motivating reason for recommending you. Copy it and start using it. I want to give you, you know, we want to share with you another source that no one even goes after, and we're just going to give it to you, okay? We have found that rabbis, priests, imams, just so we're all politically correct, you know, it doesn't matter what religion, but spheres of influence, religious leaders, very few folks are going after them. We're all going to the senior center with donuts, though, okay? But you know, look, when a congregant has a problem or the child of a congregant has a problem, they often turn to their religious leader, and the religious leader is ill-equipped to handle them. Sue and I have been to our archdiocese right here in Baltimore, and we are in the process of inviting 160 priests. I don't know if they'll all come, but 160 priests to a lunch where we're going to share with them just the ins and outs of the program, and hopefully they'll use us, and if they don't, it's okay, but at least they're equipped, they're armed. Go to your local archdiocese, okay, or your synagogue, or your mosque, or whatever, Doesn't matter, okay? But that's a bonus for you. So, see, everybody has creative ways of going out and hunting for new business. And I just want to make this separating statement. What Sue and I are all about, bottom line, is giving you tactics that we use to have them chasing us. When you set yourself apart, you're seen as the obvious expert. Why? Well, because you have business chasing you. Imagine picking up the phone and having on the other line somebody already sold. They've already heard your pitch. They already know what's going on. And while many loan officers dream about that, that's what we're doing. That's what we're teaching. No more rate shoppers, no more begging for business, no more wondering where your next deal is. God, we've already been through enough trauma. I mean, this is really why we've set ourselves up. And by the way, we took what we did and templated it for the reverse mortgage business. But I did this, years ago for FHA, purchases, refi. It works all across the board.
How to immediately be seen as the obvious expert in your city using free publicity and other shameless promotions, okay, shameless, that won't cost you one red cent. Folks, there are things you can do to position yourself as the obvious expert that don't cost a lot of money, and some of them cost no money.
Well, a lot of them cost no money. For example, in our online resource center, we give you 2 resources so that when radio, TV, and newspaper reporters are looking for stories on reverse mortgages, they can use you as the expert. Now, let's be honest. I mean, some of you do have a budget, and some of you, we're going to give you actual tools and templates that you can use immediately. But many of you don't have a budget, and that's fine too, because there's ways of doing this both ways. And let me tell you, I wasn't born with a silver spoon. Okay, I really wasn't. I barely graduated high school, so I'm not telling you this because I'm a rocket scientist. I'm only telling you because I've been around for a long time and tried a lot of things. And Sue's been around for a while. I mean, she doesn't want me to tell you how long she's been around. No,
please.
She's been around for a while. This is what we use, okay? And we actually give you the samples and we show you how we used it, but then we give it to you in a format so you can use it, and that's really critical. Sample TV buys, sample radio shows. By the way, did you know you can have your own radio show and actually make money from it? Bet you didn't know that, but we're going to show you.
I bet some people are writing that down right now.
How to get on TV and exactly what to do and say when you get there.
And if anybody's been on TV, I know when I actually got on TV, that was my next thought. Uh-oh, I got on TV. Now what do I do?
Well, we're also going to give you some done-for-you articles that you can just swipe and put your name on. You can use that for a blog. You can use it for your local papers. We're going to share with you the best business card you could ever have. Okay, I'm not even going to say more about that.
Yep.
The insider secrets to competing with the big boys, even if you only have a beer budget. The truth of the matter is that right now the big boys are simply branding and using Henry Winkler and a couple other people. Well, we could do much better than that, much more effectively, and for either zero or a fraction of the cost. See, the truth is you could be a celebrity in your area. Do you know that? I bet you don't believe it, but you can be. And you don't have to be. Look, I barely graduated high school. And I'm not the best looking guy. And as you can clearly tell now, I'm not the most articulate. But I've been in papers, I've been on TV, I've had my own radio shows, and so is Sue. Sue's much more articulate and she's much cuter. But it's really, really important. I know we looked at the list of people who've signed up, and some of these folks, Sue and I have been directly responsible for getting them their own radio shows in their town. I don't want to call them out because I haven't asked them first if it's okay, but they know you know who you are. The next 2 modules will help you whether you're brand new to reverses or seasoned pro. And we really sort of broken it down. You can't be a fake expert. So if you're brand new, we're going to give you nuts and bolts. If you're seasoned, why would you need the nuts and bolts? Well, the nuts and bolts keep changing, as you know, so we're going to continue to update that. And even if you are seasoned, the big thing we hear is, oh, it takes so long to close these deals. Well, that's not true. We get them closed in 3 weeks to 30 days. We're going to show you how.
And here's one of my favorites, how to have realtors, accountants, attorneys, and other qualified prospects chasing you. Folks, this really can happen. We're going to share the tactics that are so simple. When we think about it, when we look back, it seems simple, but they are so powerful and they are free. And once again, if you're looking for low and no cost methods, you absolutely need this module. We're often asked, why do we do realtor presentations? Well, of course, we want the reverse for purchase business. Of course, the HECM for Purchase is a great program, but that's not really the reason that we do that. And we're going to share that secret with you in this module.
Share it with them right now.
What do you think we get when we do the realtor class for education or any other professionals? We get their own personal reverse mortgage business.
And it all goes back to the demographic. Think who your average realtor is, okay? She's very sweet, and she likes to have coffee, and she's up there in age. And the reality is trying to have a realtor understand the program well enough to even explain it can be difficult, but they quickly realize that they need the program for themselves. And so, you know, I give all the credit to Sue for that because it's really amazing. How to take advantage of the new Google Places. By the way, let me just say it to you this way. If you're not being found online, because 97% of research is being done online, if they can't find you, it's as if you don't exist, and it's free, okay?
Like that word.
$0 to get listed. We're going to show you how.
And we know seniors are online.
Now, one of the things that really disturbs Sue and I, and it may disturb you as well, is that you invest in a program, the guru's no longer around, or the so-called guru really wasn't a guru, they were a fake guru. They're no longer around, and you can't get your questions answered. Or worse, they're around, but now they have their hand in your pocket. Oh, you want me to answer a question? That's another $200. It's like being in a taxi. You know, the meter's always running. So Sue and I really do want everyone to succeed, and we're really, you know, we didn't create this program because we wanted to. You asked us to be fair, okay? And so we felt that it would only be appropriate for us to invest our own personal time. For those of you who are the first 100 originators to invest in our system, and why 100? It's not a magical number. Sue and I are originating every day. We don't have the time, okay? And so this requires our personal time, and each of us committed half. You'll get 2 one-on-one sessions with Sue or I, not Sue and I, let's be clear. You can either speak to Sue, you can speak to me, you can speak to me twice, you can speak to Sue twice, you can change it up. But we're going to give you 2 half-hour sessions so that we can help you implement what you're learning, because learning it and doing it are vastly different things. We're also going to give the first 100 originators the actual realtor, professional, and prospect seminars that we use. And not only do we use them, they send us business consistently. And believe it or not, all of these places really need your presentation. They want you. You're not really imposing. They're happy to have you come and present.
They're actually out there they're looking for you.
Absolutely. So, you know, the question you might be asking is, what the heck is an online learning and resource center? Okay. Well, if you've purchased trainings in the past, you probably have it on your shelf somewhere, or part of it in your car, part of it in the trash, some in the basement.
Somebody told me they use one as a doorstop.
Yeah, often. Yeah. So we didn't want that to happen. So, you know, here we're talking about our 2 one-on-one sessions and the importance. But really what we wanted was to create a community where, because everything's changing so rapidly, everything is in online manner. So you can access it at your office, home, remote location, doesn't matter. You're going to have a username and password. All of the materials are there. You can download it. There's no big boxes. There's no ongoing fees or costs, okay? No bulky package sent to you that you misplace or have pieces of it here and pieces of it there. It is information that is tested and works now in this market and in the future. Nothing else to buy once you invest in the system. Most importantly, Sue and I are putting our money where our mouth is. Let's be honest. Every penny you're working with right now is critical. People are watching their money like it's nobody's business, and you need to. And so we're giving you an entire year. And I don't care what the reason is. There's no hoops, there's no hassles, no questions. If you don't like the system, If you feel we've overpromised and underdelivered, which I can't imagine, by the way, but if you feel that way, ask for a refund. No problem. You got 365 days. So you really have a couple choices, okay? You can invest in the system, one single payment of $597, very well may be tax deductible, or you could opt for 3 easy payments of $225, or do nothing. Just don't do anything. But don't expect anything to change. In reality, that's really not true, because your situation will change. If you continue to do nothing, it's not going to be a positive change. It's just going to get worse and worse. Look, we know you're serious. We know you've come here to learn, and we have what you need to be successful. Remember, the first 100 folks are getting our presentations handed to you. For realtors, consumers, you could do it as a webinar, you could do it in person. And by the way, you know, this bring them to dinner, feed them, and, you know, sell them reverse mortgages. If you don't want to feed them, do it at a public library, do it at a senior center, do it wherever. Go to reversemortgagesuccess.com/order. You know my initials are BS, but you know I'm not BSing you when I tell you that this seminar is full. You've seen the pop-up the whole time saying we're sold out. The first 100 go to reversemortgagesuccess.com/order are going to get to 2 one-on-one sessions with us. We can only do that. Please understand that. We can only do 100 because we're still originating, folks. We don't have a lot of time. And those presentations. The first 200 are actually going to get our Google, how to be found on Google, which is really, really important. And I'm not, you know, we're not saying this, please understand something, we're not saying this for scarcity, but it kind of is. After May 6th at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, the entire system is being taken offline so that we can start getting our new members up and running and get back to our own origination business. We only put this together, as you saw in the survey, because you asked. And so reversemortgagesuccess.com/order. I don't even really need to say this. You're getting $1,600 worth of materials if we were to break it all down, $97 plus the $500 for the 2 sessions. And Sue and I aren't even taking on new people. You know, the realtor presentations, by the way, these are presentations that we've given so we know they work. It's not like they may or may not. 3 payments of $225, 1 investment of $597, reversemortgagesuccess.com/order. So, and you're getting a full year to take it for a test drive. I mean, come on, it can't be fairer than that, okay? So here you go. That's what we've put together for you. I hope we've given you a couple tips that are good and that you can use. We get lots of referrals, and we're going to answer some questions for those of you that want to stay on. Here's some comments from our most successful students. I used most of your presentation financial planners for an 8-minute presentation I did yesterday. It went well. I have 1 referral resulting from the presentation. I copied the pages from the books. It's part of my handout. It flowed well and clearly explains the program to the reverse novice. And guess how much that cost Gary? It's a round number, Sue.
Yeah, it's a nice round number, 0.
Cindy Stevenson. I don't even want to go through all of these. Mike DePaula is right here in Baltimore. Has a very, very successful radio show and website that we helped him with over the years, many years ago, and he's just killing it right now. I mean, he's doing great. Which, by the way, Sue and I are in Baltimore, and Mike DePaula's in Baltimore. Why would we teach somebody in Baltimore?
Yeah. Why don't you touch on that?
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Sharon Miller. I mean, it goes on and on. So let's answer some questions that many of you may be having, okay? And this is also an opportunity for you to learn a little bit. You are both experienced loan officers, but will this work for me? Well, I've told you my educational background, so yes, not only will it work for you, it works. We've put together not just 1, but dozens of opportunities for you. We call it the ultimate shortcut. We literally spent years and tens of thousands of dollars perfecting these techniques. It's just for newer seasoned originators. It's really for both. If you're a seasoned originator, you're probably still having some issues with your business. But let's say you're not, okay? Life is good. If Sue and I can teach you one little thing, we operate on this little hinge theory. And what that means is this. if I'm making $200,000 a year and you show me, and 90% of what you show me I know, but you show me one thing that I didn't know and I can increase my business just by a modest 10%, that's 20 grand a year. That's huge, okay? And if you're new, it's obvious why you should be doing this.
Yeah, we've got lots of inquiries from folks who are thinking about getting into the reverse space, and so we wanted to put in materials that were applicable for both new and seasoned originators. So if you're new, yeah, there's lots of things here for you as well.
But you got to be honest, whether you're new or seasoned, the one thing you're missing is predictable income, and that's what we can help you with. Okay.
There you go.
Will this work in my area? Well, I hope so. If there are seniors,
that's really a great question.
If there are seniors within 20, 30 miles of you, then you're going to find deals. The government statistics show that 84% of seniors do not have enough to last them through their retirements. That's a fact. And we already know we only have 2% market penetration. How many others in my town are using your systems? If you're asking this question, please go to reversemortgagesuccess.com/order right now, because you have limited thinking. Okay, let me explain to you. How many deals are you capable of closing in a month? 10? Let's say you live in Baltimore and there's 500 transactions a month. You can't handle 500 transactions. You could probably handle 5 to 10. So let the rest of the market have the other 490. Many of our students are right here in the Baltimore, Virginia, D.C. area. Who cares? That's fine. There's more than enough business for all of us. If you're so successful, Sue, why are you offering this information?
And we love answering this question for several reasons. First of all, as you heard Brian say, he's glad that everybody has their BS detector on, because this is not the time for spending your hard-earned money on programs that might work. And everybody knows how I am all about using methods that are tested and proven. I don't like going back and testing things over and over and over again. I try to stick to what works, and we are using these tactics every day. If you go back to the last question and answer it, it applies as well. You've got to start thinking prosperously, and believe me, given the current environment, I know it's hard, but think about it. You're a survivor. If you're still here, you are a survivor. So, why wouldn't Brian and I share what we've learned? We like to help other people become successful or even become more successful.
But we have all the business we need. So, we're not looking for 500 loans a month.
No,
you can have them. Look. We even have a full module in time management that's going to allow you to earn more and work less. It's really important. Big question. How much will it cost to implement your strategies? There's probably about 24 tested and proven tactics and strategies. Some, if you want to invest in, you can. You don't have to. Okay? If you've got a marketing budget of 0 and you've got a staff of 0, this will still work. If you've got a marketing budget of $1 million and you've got a staff of 100,000, this will also work. Okay? That's why you can pick and choose. And when you start, because you're going to have lifetime access to this area, once you start doing well with the tactics we share that are 0 cost, start plowing some more money back into your business little by little and start using some of the other tactics. I hate to say things are guaranteed to work, but we are guaranteeing them, and we do know that they work. Look, I'm going to say this because I don't think Sue wants to. It's really time in this business for you to say you're going to succeed or you're going to get off the pot, as they say. We're providing you the resources to stay in the business and prosper. You have to decide if you want the help. It's here. May 6th, folks, it's going back in the vault, never to be seen again, and it's not a marketing ploy. Sue and I want to get back to our business, but we feel that we want to share this information with those who are serious and can benefit from it, because we've been kicked around just like you in the industry. I mean, it's not like we're immune to it. We've just found some better ways to do it. So it's reversemortgagesuccess.com/order. And some of those bonuses are limited, especially if you want Sue and I to help you personally. You really should jump off of here right now and go there.
I can't believe you just said that.
Well, if they're gone, I know.
You
know what, Sue? I'm going to tell you why. Yep. Because I don't want to get the nasty email. The bonus is gone. Okay, well, the bonus is gone. We told you it's gone. These loans take too long to close. Well, they do if you don't know what you're doing. And that's why we spent 3 full modules dedicated to showing you how to present the program. And Sue has spent in 2 modules she put together, giving you the nuts and bolts, things you may not know, and things that I can promise you, which is why we did an online resource center, we're going to continue to need to update. Well, we've been saying it. Seniors think differently. There's no reason for a loan to take 40 days, especially with seniors. You want to close them as soon as possible. Remember, it's a program with no income, no assets, no credit score, no qualifying. They have to go to counseling. You need an appraisal. You need an application, and there's no blood sample urinalysis proctology. I mean, what's taking so long? I don't get it. I'm going to say this one. I don't want Sue to say this one.
Okay.
Okay? I'll give you another one. But I'm thinking of getting out of the business. Good. Go.
I wouldn't have said that.
Go. It's okay. Let me tell you why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it to be harsh. Okay? I tend to be harsh, as you can probably hear. But that's many years as a regional vice president of a company. Okay? But I'm saying it for your benefit, not to anger you. Please understand that. Many folks are paralyzed. Okay? You are mentally paralyzed, and if you've been on the Reverse Mortgage Success blog for any amount of time, I've talked about this mental paralysis. And so I'm not saying it to be harsh. I love this business. I've gotten out of it. I've gotten back into it. I've gotten out of it. I've gotten back into it. But over 26 years, 99% of those 26 years have been spent in the business. Okay? I get it. I understand the pain. But it's not okay for you to do nothing. Okay? It's not okay for you to be mentally paralyzed, not pursuing a different career, and not doing anything to further your career here. It's not good. That's not okay. If you think that we're giving you a magic pill you can swallow, like Viagra, like mortgage Viagra or mortgage LSD, it's not what it is, okay? You have to actually do things. We're going to give you shortcuts. We're going to give you templates. We're going to give you methods. We're going to give you persuasion techniques. But we're not going to give you a magic pill to swallow, and tomorrow 12 new deals are going to follow in your pipeline. It's not going to happen that way. Please, don't think it's going to. It's not. But we've put everything that works, so it's no guesswork or theory, and it's the things that we use. Look, if you're not committed to succeeding or you just feel it's time to get out of the oven, go. Go. It's okay. No hard feelings, and you deserve a lot of credit for being here this long. But if you are serious, that's why we put this together. And I hope you're not being offended by what I'm saying. I'm sure I'm going to get some dirty emails after this. But somebody's got to say it, okay? Look, the people who were selling you all kind of crap in this industry aren't telling you that. Oh, tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day. I feel like Annie's going to come out and start singing tomorrow. Well, I don't know. Things might get even tougher. But we know what works, and it works in good times and it works in bad times. And I can't be more honest than that.
Here's some more questions that we've been getting, and I really want to thank everybody because we really got some great questions, and that's why we've included them here. I've invested in systems before. What are you doing that's different? Great question. And most of what you're being taught right now simply won't work because it's based on old methods. And let's face it, things that are costly right now, people just don't have the budget for costly marketing methods, and even more importantly, they don't allow you to measure your ROI. You have to make sure that every dollar you spend on marketing and outreach is 100% accountable.
Well, worse than that. It's all about you chasing other people instead of having them chase you and see you as the obvious expert, which is what we keep talking about, right? Can I just learn all this on my own? Yeah, of course you can. That's how we learned it. You can spend the years going outside of our industry, which is what we did, to see what was working and what isn't, and then spend the money trying to test it. But why would you? If you could have it all handed to you, why would you? We don't have time right now. Here's a great one. My spouse or significant other will literally kill me if I invest in another marketing idea. Well, there's a couple things. The first thing is, the good news is you're trying to succeed. The bad news is people are selling you crap, okay? To say it again, we're giving you a full 365 days, so there's no fear, okay? And we already said it's not a magic pill. You're not going to swallow it, and tomorrow things are going to be, the sun will come out tomorrow.
I knew you were going to sing.
It's not going to happen, okay? It will work, but you got to get it to work, and we're giving it to you so you can make it work. But, look, you have a few choices. You can keep doing what you're doing, but if you think something's going to change, you're insane. That's the definition, by the way,
That's
for any
right.
of you who don't know the definition of insanity. But what you need are things that work, that don't cost you a lot of money, that you can get going with right now and start seeing some results with. The one thing your spouse or significant other doesn't want you to do is exactly what you're doing if you're not being successful. They want you to change, and they want to respect you, and they want to be supportive, and you're now going to have some tools. Plus, to be honest, a lot of these things will position you as a celebrity in your area, and that's never bad. Well, we've talked about that. We've talked about that.
Oh, this is important.
Again, no ongoing fees, no bulky packages. Everything we're sharing with you has been tested. You're nothing else to buy. No more hand in your pocket. This is coming off the market May the 6th at midnight Eastern. If you think we're joking, watch.
Yeah.
People thought we were joking about being full today.
That's right.
You saw that little annoying thing.
Yeah.
You have a full year to test it out. The one-on-one sessions with Sue and I and the presentations are limited to the first 100 who invest. The how to be on Google Places and actually Facebook, Twitter. There are other uses. There's a whole module in there. It costs you $0 to be on Facebook, costs you $0 to be on Twitter, costs you $0 to be on LinkedIn. You know, imagine you're sitting in Boise, Idaho, okay? And in Boise, Idaho, somebody's typing in reverse mortgage. Google knows that person's in Boise. How cool would it be if your company came up and your address and your ad and everything else? By the way, I'm not talking about pay-per-click. I'm talking about just coming up in the search engine. We talked about your wife or spouse killing you. We've talked about the value, and that pretty much ends our presentation. Please